All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the diesel engine, the motor, power plant. Pick one that you like. I always get called out that I got the wrong motor or what we're calling for terminology. But either way, what I want to talk about is certain things to try to prevent from happening. When you guys have your trucks, you, the drivers, know best about the motor. The technician can only go by what you tell us. So when you're in the truck for days, weeks, months, years, and hours, you're gonna know the sound of your own motor. You know, as it's surging, I hear a tapping noise, all right? Those things you need to tell the mechanic, especially the one that you know and trust. Give us a good direction where to look. You know, you're gonna know something different than we will, because the mechanic, you only tell us the problem, and we try to go by what you tell us, especially on the Freightliner Cascadia, is that the truck is surging. You just hear going, right? So that's gonna point a lot of us in the normal direction, and that's gonna be our fuel quantity control valve, right? So what we wanna do is we'll do a test now, which the computer provides for us, see if it passes, as well as we disconnect it. It'll shoot a high rev, but then you won't hear revving anymore, and that's a good indication that we have a bad fuel quantity control valve or fuel metering unit. Next thing would be is you hear a tapping noise, right? I've always heard that one. Sometimes the mechanic will listen to it and we'll hear it in the front, the middle, or the back. Usually that's a good indication that the valves, you know, the rockers are a little loose and we need to do a valve adjustment, or at least pop the top to see what's going on. Majority of the time, it's just because it's a loose valve and we need to tighten up on the rockers. Those kind of things are great maintenance to keep going on. I would always suggest anywhere between 3 to 500,000 miles to do a valve adjustment. It's never gonna hurt. Keep those things nice and tight so we don't have valve damage, spring damage, or damage to the rockers. And not only that, it's gonna help with fuel consumption. That's another thing. Then overall, what you wanna do is walk around the truck, right? Especially in the motor area. If you see something leaking, definitely report it. That could be coolant, oil, fuel, even air. Those kind of things is the proper health of the truck. You say air, the reason why I'm saying that is because if your air compressor is constantly running, which is gear driven by the motor, so you want to let some of that load off if it's working properly. Fuel, you know, fuel pressure, if it drops, it works harder, then you'll get metal shavings in through the system, and then you're gonna have high pressure fuel pump you're gonna have to replace, flushing out the fuel system, as well as maybe injectors, which are almost like $800 to $900 for each one. You know, oil leak, especially on a DD15 or a 13, low oil pressure is like the death of these motors. So if you see oil leaking out, you want to make sure you pay attention to those, you know, around the oil pan gasket, you know, as well as your oil module, your turbo drain, which is pretty notorious, as well as right along the rocker box, which I've discussed before. You know, those little football seals, get them replaced. Stay on top of the repairs so you don't have a big repair or at least a motor going down. So those kind of things you want to pay attention, as well as what you want to do is even the fan. You know, if the fan's constantly staying on and you're not releasing, check that out. That's just making more load on the motor, as well as fuel consumption as well. You want to go around looking at everything. Anything that leaks is going to be the biggest thing. And then any abnormal noises that you hear from your motor, you definitely want those concerns taken care of right away. And check engine lights. Don't ignore them. Find out what they are. If you have a scan tool, great. So you have a basic idea what's going on to get to maybe to the dealership or a shop that you know and trust. Those things I would definitely be paying attention to. And this is all this we're trying to do is make sure we get less breakdowns and avoid those high breakdowns when something that could have been caught a lot earlier. All right, guys. So again, this was pretty much the health of your motor, you know, maintenance and things like that. The biggest thing is any abnormal noises, any leaks, try to get them fixed first right away so then it'll become big repairs. If you guys like what you saw today, please pound that like button. If you guys have any questions or even concerns that you saw or any more info you want to know I didn't hit on, leave a comment at the bottom. And guys, you guys got to subscribe. I want to see you guys around. Talk to you guys later.